when you see people that are saying they're on a plant-based diet and they're still saying, hey, I can't seem to drop the weight. I can't seem to drop the weight. Is there something that's chemically there, or is it, hey, you might ought to keep a food journal because you're probably sneaking some things and you're not reading. I mean, because I come in contact with people just through my platform, and that seems to be something that comes up, and they'll say, well, I can't seem to shed this. And so that my first question would be, what do you think is going on there? And then second, should weight loss become a side effect of eating healthy and it'll happen, or should it be the goal?
I don't know. I mean, whatever motivates you to do it. I don't care what, whatever works for you. But,
I didn't know you were a comedian. This has been great.
Look, let's say a person, take a woman who's 5'5" and should weigh under 125 pounds. Okay. Because no woman should weigh, very rare should a person be over 125 pounds if they're under 5'5". But let's just talk about that. Now, this woman weighs 225. She's 100 pounds overweight, right?
Right.
She changes her diet and she eats healthy, and she drops 50 pounds, and she goes from 225 to 175.
Okay.
And at 175, she's still 50 pounds overweight, but she stops losing weight.
Okay.
What does that mean? It means that as she was losing weight from 225 to 175, she was still overeating calories the whole time. She never was in her proper caloric window. She was always exceeding her caloric window for optimal health and longevity. Because if she was eating within the proper caloric window, she would have kept losing to be 125. The fact that she stopped losing, because she's eating enough calories to support a 225-pound body, and then she's eating enough calories that supports a 175-pound body. But eating enough calories to support a 175-pound body is not going to make her be a healthy and live a long life. She's got to only eat sufficient calories to support a 125-pound body. And if you're not losing at least 2 pounds a week, you're taking in too many calories.
Wow.
The whole time she was losing weight, she was overeating.
Okay, so how do they figure out what their caloric window is? Because a lot of people are going, well, and this is where I feel like people in the plant-based world, as far as doctors, not just doctors, but people that are advocates and
right,
they're saying, oh, as long as you're eating plants, eat all you want. And I'm like,
it's just ridiculous.
You can't
the blind leading the blind. They're just, it's crazy.
You can't eat 6 avocados in a sitting. And so my question,
I go to these plant-based, conferences, and they're, 80% of the population is still overweight there. They're still the same as they're all overweight like conventional people. Because they're told this myth, we eat plant-based, eat as much as you want. It's all, they have to, every person has to be the best scientist, artist of their own individual body. They've got to try to structure and figure out the exact caloric window that makes them live at their most favored weight. Not too thin, not too heavy, right? Muscular, low body fat. You're not anorexic either, but you know what I mean?
Right.
And you got to figure out if they continue. And you said, how do you figure it out? And I told you that if you're not losing 2 to 3 pounds a week, if you're more than 20 pounds overweight, and you're not losing and moving in the direction of your ideal weight by at least 2 to 3 pounds a week, then you're outside of your caloric window. You're eating too much food. If you should weigh 150 pounds and you weigh 200 pounds and you're losing 1 pound a week on a diet, you're still overeating.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to put myself out there. I'm a pretty big guy, played football, lift weights. I'm about 6'1", and
what do you weigh?
220.
Can I ask you what you weigh?
220. Okay.
Do you know your body fat percent?
Yeah, I think I'm at about 18%, 19%.
I doubt it.
You think I'm more?
I think you have a high body fat. I think you're over 20% body fat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because 220 at 6'1", you're no longer in competitive sports. You're not working out 2 hours a day, your weights, you can't be healthy with your weight above 200 pounds at 6'1".
Wow. Whoa.
So you probably, you have to be, do you have a 6-pack?
No, I don't have a six pack. I mean, I'm 50. I feel like for 52, you know, a lot of my numbers are good, and you know, and
What numbers are good? Those numbers don't reflect. You know.
Okay. I'm with you. Okay, so what would you say for someone like me at 52? Where should I be?
You should. So ideally, your body fat should be between 10% and 15%. But let's say 13%, 14%, 15%, 16% is acceptable.
Okay.
You're going to have to lose at least 20 pounds to get there.
Okay.
And that's going to have to be not only via exercise. You have to do it by eating less food.
Sure. No, I get that.
More vegetables and less whatever you're doing wrong. We got to look at that, and you have to figure out your favorite caloric window. And I challenge you to get your body fat accurately measured. You know.
Okay, I will do that, because I freely admit, as far as in addition to still working out and doing things like that, but I do think that I justify the heavier plant foods of.
Yeah, because you rationalize. Oh, I was a weightlifter and I'm exercising and I'm a bigger guy. It's all just rationalization. It's just wrong. I'm 72. I have a six pack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
I could show you. I'm not going to rip up my shirt, but I could show you my belly. It's just like you look. You could see that I don't have fat on me. You know.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You look taut, and I mean, but you know that.
And you know your omega-3 index.
No.
Well, these are the two most important numbers. You don't know either number. You have to know your omega-3, because as your body fat goes up, your omega-3 index goes down, because you can't get the omega-3 index at the perfect range if there's so much fat around each cell. So taking more omega-3 fats isn't going to push the number up, because you have too much of the bad fat, the fats around your cell wall. You got to get the fats off your cell wall as you put the good fats in, to have the favored omega-3 indexes associated with neurologic protection in later life too.
Wow. This is this is golly. I mean, yeah, I've been doing this for golly years, and I mean, I appreciate the accountability today, because
what brought you here? What was your heaviest weight?
Oh, my heaviest weight was 300 pounds.
Oh, okay. So you've done a lot of work so far, but now you got to put the finishing touches on the work of art, right? Now you got to clean it up all the way.
Yeah, I think what I did was, you know, when I got back into weightlifting and running and stuff like that, I definitely see what you're talking about, where I was justifying more of the nuts and the seeds and avocado sandwiches. And I think that, and it's funny that you bring up numbers. What does that mean? I mean, when I saw my cholesterol go good and the diabetes was gone, you know, I think for me, I think it's kind of what you said. You go, okay, now I'm good. Now, as long as I can maintain, but to hear you kind of just say, I really appreciate that. Because I don't like beating around the bush, and I just got called out on my own platform. So I'm super excited about this. And somebody even commented, Shane, that's great. I can't wait to see how this affects your blog now. So wow. I mean, that's challenging, but I need that. So, I mean, so honestly, thank you for that. So I just feel like I'm just being inundated and drinking from a fire hose now, in a good way. This has been encouraging. So, okay, let me take the emphasis off of me for a moment. So, and my issues. So when you talk to people and they're trying to move forward on something like this, or reset, what do you tell them to prioritize? I mean, like you just said, yeah, exercise is great, but if you're not putting in the dietary work, it's kind of null and void. So, right. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be health, but how do you, like, when people are struggling, or they say, hey, I want to move in this direction, where is the first place you usually send them? I mean, do you say, go check out the recipes of Dr. Fuhrman? Do you just kind of say, here's a basic guideline on how to eat or structure your plate? Or what do you do? What do you tell them to prioritize? I mean,
well, number one, they're not going to be compliant long-term unless they learn something.
Right.
There's first education, and then once you have the education, then applying it makes you develop wisdom, right? So you first have to get the education.
Right.
And so they can't just tell a person to eat salad. You know, you gotta. So I usually start by having them read my most recent book, Eat for Life.
Right.
Get some basic information. It's heavily referenced. There's a tremendous amount of science to take away because they've been bombarded with myths and misinformation from all over the place. Get some good, solid information. There's more than 2,000 references in that book, medical references, scientific references.
Okay.
If person wants to go back to the references and go back to the basic science, they can use it as a textbook, but they should at least, and each chapter is summarized in simple terms. They can understand what they've learned. That's a good place to start. And then as far as the application of that, the place to start is changing up your lunch. Eat a different lunch. I want your lunch to be a big salad and a bowl of vegetable bean soup with mushrooms in it, and a pea and some fruit for dessert. That's it. Salad, soup, fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Soup's made with no salt. You don't have to have the soup. You can put the beans on the salad, but the soup makes you get the mushrooms in and some little extra cooked things in there that you can get in there. And if people everybody in America would change their lunch, then the rest of it becomes easy. And the next thing is don't put any food in your mouth after 6 o'clock at night.
Oh, so you would say 6 o'clock then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No more food because you need 4 hours of not eating food to be able to finish digesting before you go to sleep at night. Is the concept putting food all night long? It could be 6:30, but in every case, don't eat after dinner. Eat an early dinner and clean your teeth, water pick and clean out your mouth, and then spend your evening with entertainment and fun activities that do not involve food or calories.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's great, because I always heard, you shouldn't eat anything after 7:30, but you're saying move it up.
Eat an early dinner and don't forget your plate at dinner, whether you eat animal products, whether you're a vegan or not, you still have to have half your plate be green vegetables, right?
Yeah. And that's where you said that's usually the cooked vegetables for you, right?
Yeah, I put the cooked vegetables at dinner and I have my salad, my raw vegetables at lunch with the sprouts on top. You don't have to do it that way, but that's the way I do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a good guideline, though. I mean, simplicity.
It gives people a great skeleton of how to follow this plan. It's not so hard to do this. Here's the plan. You have some flax seeds and chia seeds with berries and fruit with some almond milk or soy milk in the morning with some grains like quinoa or oatmeal, or you have a little fruit note. And for lunch, you have your salad, your soup, and your fruit. And for dinner, you have your cooked vegetables and a cooked vegetable wok or a green vegetable dish with a sauce or a Thai curry sauce. And you have the other half of your plate is usually beans or bean burger or some whatever it is you have there. Or if the beef is not having beans or a tofu, dried tofu, but then you could, if a person has an animal product, they're not having the beans or tofu. But it's much better with longer life when you have a plant protein instead of an animal food-based protein.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's the same basic skeleton, whether you had a little animal product in your dinner or not. It's still, salad, soup for lunch, mostly green vegetables for dinner, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Great guideline and simple, easy to remember.